Hello and welcome to the Cryptocurrency News channel. Today we put on our tinfoil hats just a little bit. Now, I personally don't believe in this theory, but it is something to actually think about because it's not too hard to see the links. Now, this involves Grayscale, FTX, and the SEC. Now, this starts because Grayscale is suing the SEC for not allowing a Bitcoin spot ETF. There's several futures ETFs, but there's no spot ETF, and their argument is that futures and spot ETFs basically rely on the same underlying mechanism. And if you've allowed a futures ETF, there's no reason you wouldn't allow a spot ETF. Now, that is 100% true. And the SEC would actually have a hard time fighting Grayscale because Grayscale is not a lightweight and they have a well-armed team of lawyers. So the SEC would be like, can we think of an evil plan to actually take down this lawsuit? So, Gary Gensler has actually been meeting with FTX a couple of times in the months before FTX collapsed, and there were no red flags signaled. So, essentially, the SEC might have actually been just plotting FTX's demise all this time because they knew for sure that Genesis would actually probably collapse if FTX collapsed. I mean, I'm sure government agencies have this information. It's not like top secret who Genesis funds and all this stuff. And they know that Genesis collapse would actually affect DCG, and that in turn would actually force Grayscale funds or GBTC to be sold. And if that happens and those are bankrupt, they might just have to withdraw the lawsuit against the SEC, especially if the fund gets sold to someone that's more friendly with the SEC. So we have to watch out in the next couple of months to actually see who the Grayscale GBTC fund actually gets sold to, because I think that could tell us a lot. Now, once again, I do think this is a bit of a stretch of a theory. I personally don't believe it myself, but the connections really aren't that hard to see if you actually look at it. So I think it's more believable if in the following months GBTC is sold to an entity that's more friendly with the SEC and the lawsuit actually gets dropped. Remember, these lawsuits take a lot of time, money, and resources, and the SEC has other lawsuits like until recently, LBRY and Ripple. And the Ripple lawsuit's taking up a lot of their time, so they may not want to deal with this one. So the thing is, I don't know how CZ Binance would be involved. I actually don't think he is, but I'm pretty sure the SEC knew that sooner or later someone would call out their bluff, and maybe they even egged on SBF to say something about CZ or CZ's family or something. That was the rumor, that SBF said something stupid like that, and then that's when Binance decided to sell off. Or maybe they already knew that CZ held suspicions about SBF because he was lobbying against others in the crypto industry. So CZ called his bluff, and that's when it all fell apart. But the SEC might have thought, what, someone's going to call his bluff sooner or later. It doesn't really matter who it is. As soon as one person calls their bluff, they would actually fall apart. Now, remember, Gary Gensler was reportedly helping Sam Bankman-Fried kind of navigate the loopholes around regulation. At least that's what's been reported. So the thing is, he might have actually known that SBF was basically borrowing FTX's money to bail out Alameda Research, and he might have actually known that he might have had a clue. I don't think he knew exactly, but he might have had a clue, or the SEC might have had a clue that both companies would actually be insolvent. So it's just a convenient way to take out basically the lawsuit that Grayscale actually has against them. So we'll see if that actually gets taken out or not. So that's kind of the whole putting together the theory of how the SEC kind of used FTX's downfall to get rid of the Grayscale lawsuit, because I'm pretty sure they knew the connections between Grayscale, Genesis, DCG, and Grayscale, and how they can get rid of the lawsuit. Like I said, I don't necessarily believe this, but the connections are there and they're not that hard to see. So let me know what you think about this theory. Like and subscribe, hit that bell notifications button, and I will see you guys later.